Washington, D.C. is filled with monuments to America's history and its leaders. As the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence approaches, there's a move to add yet another memorial. This one would honor our second president, John Adams, and his family. CBN's Jenna Browder has the story.
From Washington to Jefferson, memorials to our founding fathers are an important part of our nation's capital. And now there's a push for one more, honoring President John Adams and his family.
It's important to recognize the founding family, the Adams family, who is so prolific in American history. When you think of John Adams, his son John Quincy Adams, both served as presidents. John and Abigail Adams were the first occupants of the White House.
Congressman John Moolenaar represents Michigan's 2nd District and has introduced the John Adams Great American Heroes Act.
And as we look at the 250th anniversary, it's really important that we look at our founding principles and celebrate that as a nation, but also recalibrate and make sure we're founding those principles in our daily lives.
The bipartisan bill extends the John Adams Memorial Commission and designates a location for the memorial. It's currently awaiting a full House vote before likely heading to the Senate and then to the president's desk for his signature.
I am so blessed to be involved in both of these endeavors.
Jackie Gingrich Cushman chairs the commission and is also the president of the Adams Memorial Foundation.
I have to say, I knew kind of the basics when I began this project, and I did not seek this out. When people ask me, like, how did you get involved? I'm always like, well, I think God has a sense of humor, because I've been involved in other things, but nothing like this.
Cushman says this year's special anniversary has heightened interest in our founders, so they're trying to raise $100 million for the project, half from private donations and the other half from the federal government. Cushman says right now the focus is on educating the public on the family's contributions to America.
John Adams was a lawyer. He was a circuit lawyer. He didn't come from money. Washington had money. Jefferson had money. He didn't have any money. Abigail, his wife, kept the farm going and provided the income they needed to survive while he served our country.
John Adams was among the strongest voices for independence from England on the floor of the Continental Congress. He pushed for Thomas Jefferson to write the Declaration of Independence and nominated George Washington to be our first commander-in-chief. Adams was our first vice president before becoming our second president, and after his defeat for a second term, became a lawmaker where he was a staunch anti-slavery advocate. Adams also wrote the Massachusetts Constitution, on which the United States Constitution is based.
One of the things I love about this project is it's a family memorial, and we don't have any family memorials. And families are so important to our country. I think it's really fitting that they be recognized as a family.
The location would be President's Park, just south of the White House.
This bill designates an area which would be near the White House. It actually is right in line of, you have the White House, you have the Adams Memorial, it would be the Washington Monument, as well as the Jefferson Memorial, all in a line. And it would recognize this founding group of leaders that have meant so much to our country.
I asked Cushman what type of design we can expect.
What we've talked about is something that's very Adams appropriate. Think of it that way. So New England, so not big and huge, not a Jeffersonian, right, huge, memorial. Something that would be in keeping with John and Abigail. So maybe a library and a garden, maybe something that reflects New England architecture, but something that would be very in fitting with who they were as people.
She hopes the design phase can begin next year. For now, though, they're waiting on Congress and trying to bring in those fundraising dollars.
They are an amazing family, and it is time for us to recognize them properly.
In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
So certainly one of the heroes of the Revolution, and in sort of an odd turn of history, he died on the same date as Thomas Jefferson. And as Jefferson lay dying, he said, well, there's still Adams. He thought of his compatriot as fundamental to the liberty that you and I enjoy. It was 50 years to the day of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and here we are in the 250th year of that declaration. It'll happen next year on July 4th. Well, what a great way to honor one of the framers of our Constitution, the framers of our Republic, the framers of our liberty, John Adams. I think it would be wonderful to do that.